Welcome, Libra. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Gemini reading on the 4th of December. The last full moon of the year will be occurring, and it also coincides with Mercury having gone direct over its previous shadow period. So this is leading us almost to the winter solstice. Mercury will have exceeded its shadow period before the solstice, but they are similarly coincidental. This is about the clarity, the return of the light, as this winter solstice is the longest night of the year, indicating that the sun is now returning. So this is really going to affect you in the area of your aspiration, your inspirations, your willingness and ability to move beyond the familiar community that you are part of, to learn from other distant and diverse communities, to share information, to take something that you have created and distributed it broadly, globally. So these are areas that are usually described by higher education, spirituality, and publishing. So the reach of communication has taken a drastically different meaning in our age, in our very recent age. And so this is an important time in which you are telegraphing your principles to others. I'm going to start this reading with an oracle card, and I have pulled the Castaway Negativity. Interesting. I think this is describing a way that you are processing the healing that you've been doing for quite some time, and Mercury's recent retrograde activity has been emphasizing those things that you started specifically late summer and throughout the fall of this year. So this is requiring, I believe, a final shift for you. And this is away from habits, patterns, beliefs that we have even unconsciously patterned ourselves, our behaviors around, so that you are have become aware of the ways that you block your own energy, you block your own desires. And this is a very high level of responsibility and self-accountability, in which you are shifting your focus away from that which you have learned to surrender to, not struggle against, not fight, but accept it as a part of who you are and your development, your necessary development. So this shifts away the idea of being a victim or burdened by extra responsibilities, having a harder life than others. That is being rejected as accepting obstacles and hardships as gifts, gifts that have created and made you the strong, aware person of your abilities that you are. And this shift also is giving you the perspective of, I am open to receiving truths. I may not know what those discoveries are now, but as I clear away old stories, I make way for new perspectives, new possibilities. And this is very much in keeping with the energy of Gemini. Its ruler, Mercury, is the Magician card, right? I'm putting my energies out there in the most authentic way I can to create something that represents those values. For the overall energy for this reading, the Four of Columns really is again focusing on this shift, and this feels like an air sign thing at this particular time. But the idea that you are part of a community that supports one another to learn and grow, whatever that means for you, whatever kind of enterprise it is, this is the acknowledgement that you have made a commitment to growth, to the learning process as the process of life, as a process of healing. And thus that deserves to be celebrated. That deserves to be acknowledged by the community that you're a part of. So this is very much about honoring, ritualizing the growth that you have experienced. And for some of you, that ritualizing can be the winter solstice, or another time that is not even tied to the seasons, but tying your expression, your values to the earth, I think are critical in terms of being in the position to best provide the service that you are learning and growing into. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Justice card. I love it. So this is not only one of your cards, Libra, but this talks about the shift I'm talking about. So it isn't as though you abandon self and contribute all to a collective or vice versa. You don't abandon a collective to serve self. That's not the way it works. In fact, it is a constant balance and recalibration, re-acknowledgement that you have grown into the power of the work that you've already been doing. So there's a key here around awareness of who you are and the gift that you have already been contributing. You weren't always aware of the impact you had on others, but you may be experiencing that during this time. Reminders, reconnections with people or experiences, opportunities where you had the vision, you had difficulty most assuredly in implementing that vision in a way that was good for everyone. But you have now come to a place of advocating for your centrality in the contribution that you make. And this is all about looking for the truth, preparing for the acceptance of the truth, the discovery of a truth. In the present moment, the Queen of Columns is the Knight of Wands. So this is about your enthusiasm. You're happy about the area of growth that you're moving towards. And again, as the full moon is focusing, you are looking particularly at the way that you can spread the word around something that you're doing, inform others, provide what you're doing as a model to others. This is what you're enthusiastic, you're excited about, and you are a perfect representative of a way of being an inspiration, a way of motivating a community, a tribe, even individuals around your enlightenment, your process of learning and of personal growth that allows you to contribute to the community in the way that you are now highly capable of. In the past, the Six of Wings, the Six of Swords, because it's a six, it feels very much like your recovery from a dynamic of relationships that was exhausting for you. Perhaps relationships that were uh, somewhat static or were not fully accepting of your ability to make a contribution to help solve problems or define something in a way that you felt frustrated about, that you were felt excluded, that you couldn't bring your light to a situation because of your marginalization or rejection even. And part of the journey, the healing journey you've been on, is coming to an acceptance that these obstacles, these tense relationships were part of the separation that needed to happen in order for you to be able to express yourself in a more liberated and a more neutral way. In other words, the neutrality exists not in the truth that you're delivering, but in the intent that this is meant to help others in the context of their own experience, just as you are sharing this information from the subjective context of your experience. So there's no sanitizing the heart of the matter. There's no erasure of who you are and what you have uniquely experienced. In the future, the Emperor. Wow. So you are coming into a masterful place of controlling your own emotions, your own speech, your own conversation, your own instruction or direction, the way that you are leading towards, strategizing towards a success on behalf of others as a result of uh, knowing when to support the strengths of others and when to be silent or to share your experience in a very direct way. So I feel as though you are a person who others have invested with a lot of authority based on your experience or your success in some area or degree. But you are wise enough to know that every challenge, every goal is unique, including the people you're working with. And it is not your intention to dominate the success or take credit for it. You understand that the success is best informed by all those who participate in it. And in that way, you not only are modeling the way to lean on your own personal expertise and strength, but you're helping others to find their own strength as well, and thus to be able to lead from this place of strength, what I do well, and to learn from others that have other areas of strength. This is really masterful, and this is a ongoing message that we are all gaining greater and greater clarity regarding really healing the planet, healing our social environments, stepping away from the need to control by a single dominating will, but rather to be a part of a community that shares resources and thus amplifies what each may modestly hold in a way that benefits many others. Also, a way of providing protection for yourself and others. When you know what your strength is, you're best able to strategize how you contribute. If this reading is resonating for you, Libra, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, share if you feel inclined to do so. Feel free to drop a comment. I love your comments. Many of you probably know that and can feel that. And any way that you show up for me, not the least of which is your participation here now. So thank you for that in advance. I'm going to clarify and then finish up with another oracle card. And the Six of Wings in the past is clarified by the Three of Cups and the Magician. Wow. Okay, so this has truly been your opportunity to gain this independence of creative will. Much of your goal, much of the orientation you're moving towards, even when you were frustrated in an environment that didn't hear you, see you, or value your contribution, you always had the support of loved ones, even in the form of friends you may not see often, siblings, particular family members. You don't need a lot of this kind of support for it to be exactly what you need. So these friends helped you to accept that you had something valuable to contribute. You had the desire to be creative as a group and to contribute to that. But you also recognize that separating from a situation that was not welcoming, that may have been chaotic, was necessary for you to formulate a goal that was truer to you. In that way, you keep the support of those who have been supporting you. And you can honor that support by moving in a direction that helps you to grow in that particular, towards that goal. In the present, the Queen of Columns, the Queen of Wands is clarified by the Tower card, and the Star, quite lovely. Right now, two things are going on at the same time, at least. For the purposes of illustration, I will say the Star and the Tower here are representing uh, the things that haven't been working out, the relationships that have been stuck, the goals that you haven't been able to gain the momentum on, the ideas that you thought were working for you, perhaps the independence you're pursuing has not worked out exactly as you thought. You continue to experience resistance. However, you are going through this process of, it almost feels like an experiment in promoting your goal, your vision, in order to clear the way to actually achieve that. So I'm feeling like there are a number of institutions, rules, regulations, gatekeepers that are interfering with your ability to move heartfully towards your vision. Your vision is right there. And 16 and 17, one precedes the other very nicely. So it feels as though this collapse that maybe you've experienced as a simply moving away towards greater independence, perhaps you found a replacement for an environment in which you are better supported, but you still know that's not it. It's a means to an end. And because this is working out temporarily, it is robbing you of the security that you can just keep doing this for a while. It actually emphasizes how this is a temporary measure to help you to access the direct effort towards your vision, towards your goal. And it's interesting because you're bringing a team. It may not be the team you left behind. It may be a new team that you have partnered with in order to temporarily provide you with the resources, the support that you need towards this vision. But it isn't giving you the comfort or luxury of believing for a minute that this is a permanent part of your strategy. This is simply a temporary means to an end. It's breaking you out of your mold, and that's what you need in order to clear away the baggage that has been accumulating for a while in your allegiance to relationships that you accept as necessary to what you're moving towards, but you also understand that this is not your community, your tribe, perhaps yet. In the future, the Emperor is clarified by the King of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is you brimming with confidence, but there's a bit of an added warmth, more heart to your ability to strategize and lead others towards some kind of collective success. This warmth, this heart, it's important to you that you lead from your heart, and that purpose is a way of maintaining your connection to what feels good, to the joy of the work that you do. So that feels very central to what you're doing. Not only the joy, but the generosity, the courage, the ability to stand out loud out front and announce this to the world. That is something you are showing others. And it feels to me like others are trying to catch up with that example. So your courage, you don't expect others to find the same strength that you do. But your courage is allowing others to recognize that there's real effort that goes into what you're doing. This isn't just something that comes naturally to you. You have to put effort into it, and it's helping you get to a place where now you can see what's working. Now you can understand that you've reached beyond a hurdle. You're confirmed on this path towards a vision. And you're finally at a place where it's not simply gluing together short-term fixes and remedies to get you over the next challenge or hump. And that feels like somewhat many of you have been doing that. I'm going to finish up this reading with an oracle card and hope that this has been insightful. So change is what I saw, even if this one came up. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. I think you're doing a lot of that. I also think you're animating the real power that you are understanding you've always had as part of your gift, part of your talent. And this is really inspiring others to not only recognize the effort and the value you bring, but it's also helping you to accept that you have been making changes all along, even when you were frustrated or felt stuck or locked in. You have impacted others along the way. You've never stopped doing that. And that's what is key to changing our reality. Thank you so much, Libra, for this reading. If you're interested in this content, there's more there. Thank you for your likes and subscribes. Until next time, Libra, namaste.